What's up? It's Sofia Gutierrez with Arena Football One, and today I'm joined with the Salina Liberty kicker, Bailey Hale. Bailey, what's up? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Can't complain. Now, I hear you're in Oklahoma right now.
Oklahoma City, yes.
Okay. How is that being away from the team and just seeing them on game days? Because from what we talked about earlier, you only had one practice with them.
Yeah, I've only been to practice with the team one time, but I train here at least twice a week. I hit the gym here, and the coaches are really cool, and everybody's really cool about, you're a professional. As long as you do what you need to do and get done what you need to get done and come perform on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, we're good with it. Just keep performing at a high level, and we'll keep it the way it is.
Now, being a professional, maintaining that balance between the things that you do. For those who don't know, can you explain why you're in Oklahoma City and what it is that you're studying right now?
I'm in Oklahoma City because I go to Oklahoma City University School of Law at the moment. So I'm studying to become a lawyer. I would really like to get into like sports agency, intellectual property, entertainment law when I graduate. Um, and yeah, you'd think like it's summer, so I'd be out, but law school does not stop in the summer.
Mm-hmm. Now, what sparked your interest to go to law school and specifically stay in sports? Is it something that you saw happening behind the scenes, or was it something that you always wanted to pursue?
Yeah, so like through my time as a college and professional athlete, I just, I've seen the contracts, I've worked with the agents and the teams, and I thought to myself, at some point you have to do something that doesn't involve playing football. It doesn't last forever for anybody, and you have to have that, backup plan. And I was like, I would still love to stay around the game because I've played sports since I was 3. So I I I I don't see myself getting away from sports, and think that would be a really fun and cool way to get to stay around it and have a skill in life other than between the lines.
That's amazing. When I graduated high school, I had played softball up until my senior year, and I was like, well, I still want to play. If I can't play a sport, I still want to be in sports. And I thought the only way was studying kinesiology to become a physical therapist. I think after 2 years of doing math and sciences, I was barely getting by. And I quickly switched it up, went to journalism, but I'm still doing sports. So life works in mysterious ways, but you always end up doing what you want to do. So that's awesome. Now, speaking about starting sports when you were 3, what were the sports that you grew up playing besides football?
When I was a little kid, like 3, every little kid plays soccer. I did that up until like 4th or 5th grade, I think, and then I decided that's too much running, so I quit. Um, my favorite was always basketball. I played basketball up until as long as I could, honestly, up until I was a senior in high school. Um, I wanted to play in college, but life happened, and I ended up playing football. I played baseball with I wasn't the best baseball player, I'll be honest with you, but my friends were really good, and I liked competing, and I liked being out there with my friends. So I played baseball, and then I ran track because the coaches make you in a small town.
So you don't like running and soccer, but track and field is a go.
Well, senior year, I talked him into letting me be the manager.
Okay. And when did you know that football was going to be the only sport you pursued in as like the higher level?
Uh, I got, I had some Division 2, Division 3 JUCO basketball offers, and then I got an offer to play football at Abilene Christian, which was Division 1 FCS at the time. And you're a high school, you're 18, and you see Division 1, and your eyes light up. And so I was like, I guess I'm gonna go play football. And so I went and did that, and ended up Abilene Christian just kind of wasn't for me, but I ended up actually getting in touch with a guy that coached me at basketball when I was younger. and he was the head basketball coach at Eastern New Mexico University, where I transferred to. And the plan was for me to play basketball there as well, but it just didn't work out that way.
Mhm. And then from Eastern New Mexico, you went to another Division I school, Louisiana Tech. How was that transition from one school to the next to ending up in Louisiana?
Ended up in Louisiana. I mean, I still think going to Louisiana Tech was the best decision I've ever made, maybe. Um, hard to turn down, when they offer you the scholarships and all that. It's hard to say no. It's hard to complain. But, I loved Louisiana. I loved the people there. I loved the atmosphere. The game, for me, the game's kind of the same everywhere. The uprights in the ball, the hashes are as far apart as they are. The uprights are as far apart as they are. Kick the ball between the uprights, and you're gonna be just fine. Um, but the guys are a little bigger, a little faster. Once you get to that level, they see the game a little quicker. But I mean, there wasn't a huge difference in the game, honestly, for me.
Mhm. Now, what was a huge difference was the change that you made. You made an immediate impact there and you set some records. How did that kind of, make your time there that much more exciting?
I think the first time I hit 5 in a game was North Texas. That was a fun day because apparently we didn't like North Texas that much. I'd only been there not very long, but we apparently didn't get along with them all that well. So it was fun to beat them. Yeah, anytime you have success, especially in the southern part, Louisiana part of the United States, the southeastern part, football is everything down there. And anytime you have success on the football field down there, you kind of become this larger than life thing for 6 days until the next game. You just try to keep performing at a high level, and hopefully, try to set another record if you can. But just do your part, help the team win, and just relax, kind of.
Yeah. And what year did you graduate from Louisiana Tech?
So I finished playing football there January of 2020.
Mhm.
I still had like a semester left of getting my master's, so I finished that. So I technically graduated August of 2021, I think is when I finally finished.
Mhm. And so January 2020 was the pandemic was kind of just peaking, but everything really shut down in March, at least in SoCal it did. How did the pandemic affect you in school and in football?
Well, I mean, school, everything just went to online, and I mean, online class, it is what it is. It's boring, but you don't have to worry about driving up there, at least. Football wise, it was pretty tough because, like I said, I was out of eligibility, and I was coming out. I think I had a pretty good buzz around me at the time. I was talking to some teams. We were hearing some traction from some teams, but I didn't. Pro day got canceled. All everything pretty much to do with it got canceled, and yeah, we've just but no excuses. It is what it is, and
Mhm.
hopefully we can get back there someday.
Yeah, and what did you do to maintain that positivity and that optimism to get back onto the field because that's a huge thing for an athlete to just what do you do? There's a lot of leagues that were going into bubbles or completely like boxing fights had no fans whatsoever. So you could easily be scared with what's going on. But what did you do to maintain your positive attitude throughout that time?
Honestly, I have an amazing support system in my life. My parents, my friends, my other family, the people around me, my circle. You know, they they've been in my corner 100% from the beginning. They're at every game that they can possibly be at, and they keep you going. And when you really love something, it doesn't really feel like working at it. So I really love playing football. I love being out there, and when you have both of those things combined, it doesn't really feel, it's hard to get low on it at that point.
Mm-hmm. Now, talk to me about getting back on the field and joining the BC Lions with the CFL.
Yeah, that was kind of a crazy thing. I graduated. I had my graduation ceremony end of August 20, start of August 21. Then I guess I was in the real world for like 60 days, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for a living. And then, football happened, and I loved Vancouver. I loved the BC Lions. I still nothing but praise to them. They gave me an opportunity, and they brought me up there and showed me a part of the world that I honestly never thought I would get to see without this game. And yeah, I really appreciate everything they did for me. The Brian Rigmaiden's a great guy. He's one of the GMs up there. Yeah, I got nothing but good things to say about the CFL. It was a little cold, but you can afford a jacket at that point.
Yeah. Now, after the CFL, you came to AF1 and joined the Salina Liberty. How was getting adjusted to the leagues in the game?
The uprights are a little closer together, so that's something you have to adjust a little bit to. And the ball's a little smaller. It just takes a minute. You take a couple swings at it, you'll figure it out. And the main thing I've been dealing with is I've never kicked indoors where they have a roof before, so hitting the ceiling is something I'm working on. But yeah, I'm adjusting to it, and I think I'm making the adjustment pretty smoothly. But hopefully, I just continue to get better at it.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about the game that you guys played against Southwest Kansas Storm this past weekend. I think it was up till minute 55 with 39 seconds. The Storm was in lead, and then something happened, which makes sports just so beautiful. You never know what happens until the end of the game. It doesn't matter what the clock says. Talk to me about the excitement. Walk me through how you were feeling.
With the 1 second left, or
Yeah, well, bringing the score up because you guys were chasing one, and then it was after that minute that things kind of changed. And it's like, whoa, this is sports.
yeah, I'll be honest with you. I haven't been around it enough to really understand the rules.
Mhm.
It was an emotional roller coaster for sure. Everybody was, the playoffs are on the line. We know we win or we're done. Um, then we saw the interception. Then it was very, very low at that point. Everybody was. I saw Coach running back out there, and I was like, well, I don't know what he's. I thought it was like a false start or something. I was like, I don't know what he's doing. And then, yeah, they were just like, get ready, get ready, get ready, and I was like, well, I'm ready. Um, but yeah, without we talk about me hitting the field goal, but man, without I don't have any success without all those guys. Man, they played an amazing game, and truly hats off to all of them. And yeah, they're the reason we won that game. And coach made a great challenge. We have about a rule I still do not understand, but hey, I don't need to understand it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, you mentioned your love for basketball. If you had to pick 5 guys on your team, one including yourself, who would the other 4 be?
Just of anybody on earth.
Uh, from your team.
Oh, from my team, I'd have to go with probably. I've never seen him play basketball, so like I might catch some heat for this. I'd say Javin Kilgo because he's very tall.
Uh-huh.
Um, um, let me see. Tappa looks like he's pretty big. He looks like he can rebound. We're up to 3. Ooh, I know that they play. Let's get maybe Shaq. He's fast. And
Uh-huh.
then another taller guy, I'd say. Maybe Cato. Cato looks like he might be able to play a little bit. Looks like a shooter.
Okay, okay. All right. Now, one more thing I want to ask you because you're an athlete, but you're still a student. what has been the biggest challenge with balancing both things, and how do you make time for both?
The biggest challenge is just the scheduling. Getting the places, making sure there's times I can't travel with the team. I'm flying in differently just because I have a test or I have something I have paper to write or something. So that's the biggest challenge. And the how do I find time is you work out early in the morning or late at night, honestly, and or whenever you have time during the day. You learn to manage your time pretty good in college, and you're tired, but it makes it all worth it when you get to play and you get to help your team get a win. It makes it all that tired and all those awful things you have to go through. It makes it all worth it.
Yeah, and I know school takes up a lot of time, but when you go work out and you're in the gym, is that also like a nice escape and a little break from hitting the books and studying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, nobody wants to read 60 to 100 pages of cases from the 1800s all the time. Yeah, your brain's tired, your brain hurts, and yeah, going to the gym and getting to get on the field, it's just like you feel like you just finally get to breathe a little bit and no pressure. You're in there by yourself. You get to work on what you want to work on, and it's a wonderful thing, truly.
Mhm. Well, Bailey, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. Excited to see what's next for you and the team. So, best of luck and thank you again.
Thank you. Yeah.